Welcome to episode 274 of the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP 274, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, joined today again by Myrriah Gossett.
I'm back.
How you doing?
You know, surviving. Don't have the corona, hanging out.
You feeling good?
Feeling good.
No sneezing, no coughing.
Little allergies, but not.
Really?
Yes, but I know they're allergies.
Yeah.
I know they are. So.
I always have allergies, just, it's not seasonal. It's daily.
Just the environment.
It's just me. This is my life. I take a Allegra every night. Shouts to Allegra currently.
Did you know Austin is like the allergen capital of the United States? Like we have the most allergens out of anywhere.
Yeah, so I lived in San Marcos before this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just Central Texas as a whole is shit for allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that about Austin, that it literally is like the worst place you could live.
Yes.
If you have allergies.
Never had them before I moved here.
And I learned that about 2 years in, and I was like, oh, that's why I feel like I'm dying all the time. But now I think my body's gotten used to it, and I'm good. You know?
Just used to death.
Yeah. And it goes without saying, today we're going to be discussing what has been potentially the most insane week in the modern age of news and social media. I had to smoke weeds literally right before recording because I had a mini panic attack in the shower. It's been a while since I recorded like this, so welcome, everyone. Hello.
You got all the waters.
Tight. Yeah, I've got 3 waters over here. 2 small miniature ones. Shouts to everyone on youtube.com/Bolen Media who can see these 2 small waters that I have. And then, of course, I have a slightly larger, medium-sized water, which I will be consuming first, in case you were curious about the order of things. You probably weren't. Myrriah said, I was like, hey, yeah, so this, obviously Corona is probably going to take up a good amount of our conversation today. And she was like, it doesn't have to, does it?
Yeah, it'd be nice,
You said you slept 4 hours last night?
Yeah, I scrolled Twitter. I'm really good about falling asleep, but my anxiety hits me really hard at night. And so I'll wake up at like 3 a.m. and then cannot go back to sleep. And then I made the mistake of opening up Twitter again. And I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why?
Yeah, too many of us are doing that to ourselves, and we'll get into all that in a few minutes. But before we dive into that stuff, folks, pay attention, listen up. New sponsor alert, RBP 274 is brought to you by Riomar, the new standard in footwear, pioneering versatility through innovation. Peep RiomarShoes.com. It's RIOMAR shoes.com/RBP. Check out these awesome shoes while I speak on them. They're fucking incredible. Casual enough to not look like a Chad, but nice enough that you don't look like a Stu. Right there in the sweet spot where I like it. Built for the ever-changing world around us. Between the waterproof leathers and non-smell insides, this shoe is perfect for spring break, the beach this summer, boating in the springtime with a sexually attractive human at your side. The customizable bearing lets you swap out styles to change the look of your shoe while traveling with multiple pairs of shoes or just day-to-day. Riomar's motto is change your bearings, not your soul. You can literally email them and they will try to put anything you want on these bearings. I just received my custom RBP bearings earlier. They're fucking gnarly. You can see them on my Instagram at WRBolen and on the Ross Bolen Podcast Instagram at the moment. You could get a monogram if you wanted. You could go with school pride, get your colors. So customizable that it will literally melt your brain. Bearings for the studio, different bearings for church. I can make these into any vibe I need, anytime I need them. Right now, you can get an exclusive offer just for our listeners. Go to RiomarShoes.com/RBP. Use the code RBP today when you check out to get 15% off your first pair and any extra set of bearings you want. If you want something special, email the Commodore. He'll do his best to oblige. RiomarShoes.com, RIOMAR shoes.com/RBP, code RBP, 15% off your first pair and any extra set of bearings you want. Don't sleep on this rare opportunity to get a discount. The company president is actually a friend of mine as well. Good people helping people. RiomarShoes.com/RBP. Use the code RBP at checkout and look at my Instagram story if you want to see the custom RBP bearings that I just got. As far as announcements and shouts today, we're going to skip them. As far as amends and fact-checking, we're going to skip them.
Dang.
Too much good shit to get to.
Straight to business.
First segment. It's the end of the world as we know it.
That song has never rang more true.
Right? As I said up front, since we recorded on Sunday, since we did RBP 273, and in this past 24 hours in particular, coronavirus mania hit the motherfucking fan. I went to the grocery store earlier, okay?
Yeah.
To pick up a prescription. Unrelated to this, I might add. My mental health prescriptions. And as I'm walking in, it occurred to me, oh shit, it's going to be packed in here because there was a lot of people coming in and out of the front door. people are legit freaking out to the point that they're stocking up on stuff. You actually can't find hand sanitizer anywhere.
I met up with some friends last night who work for like the local Keep Austin Beautiful like chapter.
Yeah.
And I know they have a storage room full of hand sanitizer because they give them out at all their cleanups.
You got that address for us?
And I was just like, you are sitting on a gold mine right now. You could make your whole annual budget selling this stuff. And they're like, we know we've had to hoard it. We can't bring it to our normal cleanups. We have to like hold on to it as staff members and give it out at these cleanups. Otherwise, people are just grab them. They're just like, oh, I'll just take this home because I don't have any more.
Apparently, you can't even find it. Like hand sanitizer is out on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like you literally are like you're struggling to find it anywhere right now.
But just wash your hands. Soap and water works.
True.
Doesn't even have to be like antibacterial soap. It can just be regular soap.
But the point is the frenzy's actually happening.
Yes.
People are losing it. I saw dudes walking in and out of the grocery store with the masks on, which they already told us don't do anything, by the way. Unless you already have it, it helps prevent you spreading it.
Or if you're sick in general, you should wear a mask so you don't spread it.
So that you're not spreading your whatever you have.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a mask.
No.
I don't care what happens. I'm not putting one of those masks on. I'm sorry. A gas mask, I'm down with. I'm not putting on one of those regular ass masks, though.
Do you have the one with the bong attachment?
I wish I did. You know, I've never hit one of those.
It looks too intense. Too intense for me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm still, as I've said when I've spoken to my smoking, my choice of smoking accessories, I'm just a bong guy. I just don't need all that crazy shit. The gravity bong thing nearly ruined me. One experience. Full-blown fear and loathing. Never again. But the grocery store was nuts. I was like, okay, shit's starting to get a little weird here. Then I'm back at my house. My dogs are barking, as they often do, out the front window at my neighbors walking their dogs. Mm-hmm. And I look out the window, and my neighbor walking is, first of all, she's not walking a dog. She's walking a baby in a stroller, not with a collar on, or a leash. And she's wearing a bandana around her face.
That could also be for allergies, though. I've done that for allergies.
Does that do anything?
I don't know. I wear them when I go to music festivals because it's all dusty and gross.
Really? You bandana up like a bandit?
Yeah.
Like in the Wild West?
Yes. Because then if you ever blown your nose after going to a festival, it's just dust. It's gross. It's disgusting.
Yeah, when I was in a fraternity in college, they used to haze us in this basement that had just like dirt floors. And you would breathe, like whenever we got taken down there, you would breathe out like that dust and dirt clogged boogers for like a week.
It's like you're like a 3-year-old who went to recess for too long.
Yeah, really fun stuff. Thanks for that, guys.
But yeah.
Yeah, but
I get it though. Who knows?
Yeah.
People are weird.
Whatever, man. I'm just the amount of stuff getting shut down at this point. So like last night, this saga, and Myrriah, I'm sure you're not familiar. The NBA.
I watched this video because I was like, I bet Ross is going to talk about this.
Oh my God. So,
touching all the mics. Gobert, right?
Yes.
I want to say it really French, like Gobert.
That is exactly how you should say it.
Yeah.
Rudy Gobert, he's very, very French, is currently under what is the most hilarious scrutiny I've ever seen, sports-related wise. The man tested positive for coronavirus the day after mocking it by putting his hands up all over the fucking microphones at the presser, and essentially single-handedly got the NBA season suspended because the Utah Jazz, by virtue of second and third degree, have literally interacted with every single team in the NBA in the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
So they
bye-bye.
They have indefinitely suspended the NBA season.
I appreciate that Mark Cuban at least is figuring out a way to pay all of the arena staff. So important.
Most of these guys will. They'll follow suit and do that. Because, I mean, which leads us to another point. The widespread economic implications here, that's the most fascinating part of this to me. Because mathematically, what we're looking at from a loss of human life standpoint is not nearly as scary as people are making it out to be. For instance, a statistic I saw earlier today, actually it was last night, so hopefully this hasn't evened out too much. Literal regular influenza has taken out like 100,000 more people than coronavirus in the time we've been freaking out about coronavirus.
True, but the percentage, like the death rate percentage is much higher for coronavirus. Like the regular flu is like 0.1, 0.2%, whereas coronavirus is like 3 to 4%.
But the thing I'm reading also that's probably an inflated statistic based on the incredible failure by our healthcare system to properly test for this shit.
Right. We've tested like nobody. We've tested like 80 people in the United States.
So there's probably way more that have it, meaning that death toll should go down, right? Percentage-wise.
True, but I think it's not based on like the global numbers. I think it's just based on like they create like a sample size.
Oh, sure.
To track that. Like South Korea is doing it correctly. Like they've tested almost everybody.
Well, the shit is fucking, I mean, just unbelievable. The fact that I don't know what's going to happen with the sports stuff. It obviously, like, big picture doesn't matter.
I mean, it does for so many jobs. That's the thing. Is like, granted, we can all live without
basketball, football, baseball, the general entertainment stuff. We can live without it, sure. But it's annoying as fuck.
It's a lot of people's jobs. Those parking attendants, everyone who's selling you concession stuff, ushers,
janitors,
all those folks.
I mean, cleaning folks, everybody. It's hundreds and hundreds to thousands of
They're closing
employees.
down Broadway tonight.
Wow.
5 p.m. Broadway will go dark for like the first time ever.
So one of the interesting things is going to be, how do all these people who are indefinitely out of work go about transitioning or continuing to make a living? And the other thing is, like, considering that, just the widespread implication of like sports jobs, all of these companies, these major corporations sending people to work from home for X amount, like for an indefinite period of time.
I think it's going to be the podcast boom. Our industry is safe.
It's podcast season, baby. This is it. Seriously.
Is it the year of the podcast?
Maybe now. Maybe this is the transition we needed to finally say it's the year of the fucking podcast. I don't know. I'll make that decision in time. March Madness got canceled. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? The sad thing is, in times like this, it would have been great to be able to like bet on sports and shit. Now,
nothing.
You know who else is going to kill it? Netflix.
Yes.
Stockholders must be stoked, or probably
all
not.
The at-home, like the Peloton people.
Peloton folks, yeah.
All streaming services.
Podcasters.
Video games.
Liquid IV.
Doing great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. March Madness gone. Fucking disaster.
There should be like a replacement for podcasts, and we all disclose our download numbers and we see who can take down whom.
That'd be tight.
Podcast game.
Hell yeah. The Masters tournament is apparently at the moment going to be played without patrons. I'm guessing that'll eventually just get full-blown canceled if it hasn't been already. But this is the funny part. I already heard one story about dude who applied for the Masters lottery, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Every year they have this email system. You apply for the Masters lottery. Nobody ever wins it. You do it for your whole life, and you hope maybe once you get selected and get free tickets. It probably isn't going to happen. It's literally like winning the goddamn lottery. I know like one person who's hit this.
Like to get tickets or to play?
Yeah, you get free tickets.
Okay.
To go see like, I think you get to pick 2 days if I'm not mistaken. And there's a guy that has been doing this for 15 years. Every year he puts his email in. Every year he receives the email telling him, just like the rest of us do, you did not get selected. And he got picked. And now he can't go.
Oh. I mean, that's like all the poor filmmakers from South by. I think about that too.
Yeah,
you know, like
man.
Folks who are trying to premiere their movies so they can get distribution.
My first film.
Right.
Finally made it to South by.
Yeah. It sucks.
South by's canceled.
Think about all the dope movies we're going to have to wait even longer to see now.
We were talking about if they hadn't canceled South by. Last week we were all like, man, what the fuck? This week we're like, oh, thank God. We would have been in the middle of it.
We probably would have been, like patient zero, Austin, Texas.
Ground zero for the United States would have been Austin, Texas. It would have just been spread. We would have had so many Europeans coming in. By the way, the travel restrictions thing now is insane.
But here's the thing. It's not even like that
effective.
How
the hell do they do the connections and shit? I don't understand.
Well, the other thing is like if you're an American citizen, you can still come back. It's just like they're not letting European citizens in.
Right.
So it's not like...
It's just weird.
It's stupid.
Really weird. It's just fucking bizarre. My favorite story, considering economic implications that I've seen so far, was this video of these monkeys fighting for a banana because tourism dropped off in Thailand because of what is... should stop saying coronavirus. COVID-19. Can we say COVID?
Co-19? Co-19?
Co-19, whatever. Apparently, these monkeys depend on the tourists for food. And so many tourists have stopped. There's no tourism, obviously, so these monkeys are freaking out and fighting over one banana, and the video is just utter chaos. Just hundreds of monkeys.
I did see, though, apparently...
bum rushing one monkey holding this banana. Hundreds of them.
Poor little monkey.
I mean, this looks like some shit out of a movie. This looks like some apocalyptic shit. Hundreds of monkeys running the streets of Thailand because there's no more tourism to feed the monkeys.
Apparently, air pollution has gone way down, though.
Well, that's good.
No one's driving
Less
to go to
people
work.
driving.
Yeah.
I saw a thing, a Brazilian official that Trump met like a week or two ago tested positive for it.
Yeah, and then that guy at CPAC also had it.
Shut the fuck up.
Like,
This is insane. Is Trump going to get coronavirus?
he would
It's fine.
never tell you
Dude,
that, though.
First of all, I don't think he would ever get tested for it. But then even if he did, it doesn't matter. I'll just put it in his mind vice and crush it, right?
Yeah, right. That's totally what he's
And I'll
gonna
say
do.
this. Yesterday was among the best days I've had in a very, very, very long time. And I'm in the fucking zone and just pounding Liquid IV in these podcasts, which is great because it is, as we mentioned, officially podcast season, baby. Podcasts cannot spread coronavirus.
We disinfect these mics.
We disinfect our mic. Well, we might be fucked, but I'm willing to take that risk for me. For you guys, you're good. My voice can't infect you. If anything, I would argue it could cure you. I can't say that. I'm not a scientist. I have no medical background. But I feel like it could. This is my time to shine. Right now. The Ross Bolen Podcast, oysters, clams, and cockles, freeze all motor functions. We're about to be firing on all cylinders. So if you're scared, just remember, at least you'll have all these podcasts to listen to.
People working from home now, they got nothing else to do.
Nobody works from home. Productivity is about to be at an all the fuck time low.
Really? I think it's going to go up. I think people are going to realize they get distracted at work more often in their office than they do at home.
Too many humans can't be trusted. As a guy who spent a lot of time working from home and had to get really used to it, too many humans can't be trusted to work from home. I would argue most of the people I know, if allowed to work from home, would do less. Would be way more masturbating. There'd be way more napping.
Good for the immune system all the way around.
Day drinking is going to skyrocket. Invest in alcohol, porn, and podcasts. I actually texted my pot guy earlier to be like, look, dude, if you're taking time off, I need to know now because I'm stocking up.
Bulk order.
I also have 3 days left on my health insurance. It's not good. Not good timing
Not
at
good.
all. Not even a little bit. I also texted my therapist and told her I wasn't coming in.
What?
Yeah, I just don't trust that place right now. It feels like if I'm going to get corona, it's there.
At your therapist's office.
Just because I know, like, us mentally unhealthy people, we're less likely to remember to, like, you know, not touch stuff or, like, whatever. Wash
But-
our hands and shit.
I guess it depends on...
Which unhealthy mental you are.
Yeah.
If you're
'cause
OCD.
Some people wash their hands a lot.
Much cleaner. I just mean me. Never wash my hands ever. Not once.
Good to know. I'll disinfect
Just pound Liquid IV.
everything you've touched in this
Listen to
entire
podcasts.
place.
You'll be fine. Look, I'll play with this cord. Does this make you uncomfortable? I'm just kidding. I wash my hands constantly. Soap all over my house. Very clean person. Support your local podcast at patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine.
Question mark.
RBP 274 is brought to you by Liquid IV. Has there ever been a better time for a Liquid IV ad read ever? You're familiar with Liquid IV's hydration multiplier. Carries premium matcha and green energy blend. Tastes delicious. Provides a lasting energy boost throughout the day. This energy multiplier, their new energy multiplier, tastes amazing. It's just like their lemon lime flavor. You mix it in with water, you drink it. Gives you a sustained energy boost with no crash. Pound one before you work out. Before you go for a run. Before work in the morning. Replace your morning cup of coffee. The energy multiplier is their new deal. The hydration multiplier, y'all have heard of for 2 years now from me. Liquid IV tastes great. It keeps my busy ass hydrated on the go. Keeps me energized when I need it as well. And during these trying times where our immune systems need a little extra something, Liquid IV has got you. 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the code Ross at checkout. That's 25% off anything you order on Liquid IV's website. Just go to liquidiv.com, enter the promo code Ross to save 25% and get better hydration and energy. Liquidiv.com. Promo code Ross. Don't wait. Start fueling your adventures today. And also, keep yourself safe. Next segment. Lyrically dissecting Bone Thugs and Harmony's Ecstasy. You're familiar with this song, right?
Yes. So I did have to go back, re-listen, and read the lyrics.
To remind yourself.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But,
I was listening to this song the other day, and I was laughing out loud at the lyrics. And I was like, I have to talk about just how, first of all, it's a great song. And Bone Thugs was an incredible hip-hop group.
Don't you miss the day of 5-minute long songs?
Yeah. And I feel like all their great songs were 5 minutes. All of
Yeah.
Bone Thugs' songs were long. So good. So many classics. But this one in particular, just absolutely absurd. From the 1 minute conversational intro with one dude convincing another dude, I don't even fuck with the weed no more.
I just do ecstasy.
I literally just do ecstasy now, which is I've explained this before. Do not do this. I did this for a month, a full month, in literal high school, mid-puberty. I fed my brain ecstasy. I was like, enough weed. Actually, I was smoking weed while I was on. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm pretty sure it's the thing that contributed to my brain not working quite the way it's supposed to. It also might have made me a genius. So I don't know what to tell you.
The come down is so much hard. It's so hard.
Hell.
Why would you do that?
I don't know what I was doing. Well, I do know what I was doing. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
But
I
no.
meant in the song. Why would you want ecstasy over weed?
You should never replace weed with anything, but definitely not with ecstasy.
Very different.
Just as too hard on your brain. Anyway, so he explains to this dude what ecstasy is. He says, this shit will have you on the level with your female and everything. He says, I'm going to give you one of these motherfuckers, let you try this motherfucker out, man, and I bet you be calling me tomorrow. Talking about you want some more of this shit. The song hasn't even started yet. This is just that upfront 1 minute intro sets the tone for the rest of the thing, and the guy just ends up saying, fuck it, give me one of them motherfuckers there, man. And he says, here, take that one and call me in the morning. And then we launch into the classic, I feel so ziggity, 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 because I'm floating in ecstasy. The hell is ziggity, ziggity, ziggity?
I don't know, but
Somehow
the
fits
harmonics
perfectly.
were great.
Oh, perfect. But also the word just seems to hit. That is kind of what you feel like when you're on ecstasy. Ziggity, ziggity, ziggity. I don't know. So then the song starts. As you can see, I took the pill right to the house, grabbed a shot of liquor, popped it in my mouth, and I'm thinking to myself that this might be a waste of my time. Because what if I don't even get high? 30 minutes done came by. I didn't even seem high until I stood up and looked at the ceiling for some reason. Now I'm tweaking. Then I tried to walk, but I was slow. I guess I'm floating in ecstasy. So the dude gets hit. Because it takes a little bit to hit. 20, 30 minutes. And the first time you take X, or MDMA of any kind, really, that is a feeling you didn't know was a thing. Just like taking LSD, or the first time you have a panic attack, or sex. You're like, holy shit. What the fuck is going on right now? It's wild. You do feel like you're floating. You feel so pillish because you're floating in ecstasy. So then we get to Flesh Bone's verse, which, by the way, worst name in Bone Thugs. Flesh Bone. You had to do that to us, make us all think about that. Any of the versions of flesh, anything, flesh rocket, flesh tube, flesh, any of those things to refer to a penis, worst possible nickname or version of that you could go with. Stop it.
Not into fleshlights?
No, not unless they sponsor the show.
Yeah.
Local Austin company, I might add.
It's true.
I've told a great story about fleshlights on this podcast at some point. No idea what episode it was, but long story short, they delivered a box of 7 of them, I think, to the old Grand X office, and it was a joke or a laugh, a box of fleshlights, that's classic. And then slowly, one day after another, one would disappear, a couple disappeared,
Right.
and by the end of the week, the whole fucking box was gone.
Exactly.
And then all of us knew that all of us were fucking fleshlights. It was very awkward in the office. I wasn't, just for the record.
Uh-huh.
Just for the record, they were gone before. Honestly, I went for one and the box was empty. That's how I know.
You just got to go to more drag queen events. They give them out like candy.
No shit.
Yeah.
Big in the drag scene, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep that in mind. I don't know if I could handle a drag show stoned. I might have to be sober.
They're dope stoned. It's just colorful.
Maybe the first one sober, second one stoned.
Have you never been to a drag show?
I don't think I have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We got to remedy this.
I need to be inundated into the drag show community. That's the next step for me. Inundated? The fuck does that even mean?
I think that's like overwhelmed with it.
Inundated.
Introduced.
Yeah. Oh, you're dead on. Look at you. You have a dictionary mind? Can I just throw out words and you'll know what they mean?
No, don't
Okay.
do that.
All right, no testing. That'd be a fun podcast. I say words and Myrriah guesses the, definition. Jesus. Anytime anyone asks me any question on the show, I'm like, why'd you do that? What the fuck? Like I'm supposed to have an answer now? Christ, you're making me look like an idiot, so I would never do that to you. Ever.
Thank you.
Back to Bone Thugs.
I mean, talking about lyrics and words, that needs some definitions.
Fleshbone's verse, here it is. My name come alive, be told, don't know what that means. And I'm poking in something, oh damn, but it ain't no joke, 'cause guards and red beans. I can't say half the words in the fucking song,
Yeah, I was
so
like,
have to skip
there's
around.
so many
This
words
verse,
you cannot
this
say.
entire verse, I cannot really read.
So just go listen
Let
to it.
me give you the gist of it here. He gets really, really horny. He's feeling too sexy for his motherfucking self by the end of the verse. And then he says, gotta find my bitch and fuck her ass to death. That's how horny he is. And then it goes straight back into feeling pillish because they're floating in ecstasy. Then we're to Lazy Bone. This guy's freaking out. He's seeing the devil. He has a bad trip.
Oh, no.
He's on the couch fainted, arms sweaty. He says, man, why the fuck y'all let me do this? I'm looking at my homegirl like I want her. He says he's trying to call his friend, but he couldn't hear him, so he guess he's mumbling. I've been there. That's only happened to me with weed, though, where I felt like I wasn't speaking English anymore. I was like, can y'all not understand me? And I couldn't tell if it wasn't that I wasn't talking at all. It's because of edibles. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
It'll happen with edibles on occasion. It'll get you. They'll get you. Oh, for sure. Anyway, so this dude ends up paranoid, cocking his gun just because someone knocked at the door. This isn't the guy you want to do ecstasy with. Lazy Bone, not the guy you want to do ecstasy with. He's pulling the pistol. And then
not good.
Wishbone bursts into...
Every time I hear Wishbone, though, I just think of that little Jack Russell Terrier, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like kids show.
Did he pass?
Oh, I don't know.
Rest in peace, Wishbone, if you're gone. Wishbone says, I feel so violent, fucking with that ecstasy. Come roll with me. I feel so violent, repeating it over and over. Then don't roll with me. Very confusing. Which one are we doing? And then his verse, I've been smoking weed for a very long time. Why should I change? And plus they say that ecstasy shit fucks up the brain. It's like these guys got in the studio and literally were like arguing for each other. Like he was like, I'll take the negative angle.
It's debate club.
Yeah, what the hell is happening here? And then he says, why should I? Just to get high, weed gets me high. Gets into the argument, the back and forth, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the song is nuts. Just go listen to the fucking song.
It's a great song.
Everybody feels ziggity, ziggity, ziggity rolling on that ecstasy. By the end of it, you really do feel a lot happier. It also just takes me back to that full month in high school where I literally just listened to the song over and over while I was on ecstasy. And by the outro, everybody's agreed to do pills.
Come together.
Might I add, don't do pills. Or do, whatever. Just be responsible. Be safe, kids. You're going to have to make your own decisions in life. I can't do everything for you. Next segment. The worst movie you've ever seen in theaters.
I have such a good answer for this.
Okay, so do I. You first, though.
Okay. So in high school, my first job ever was at the Regal Cineplex.
Okay.
So I got to see a lot of free movies.
Were you working like behind the concession stand
Yeah,
or what?
concession stands, swinging popcorn.
Was it
nachos.
ticket sales and concessions or just...
Just snacks.
Okay, cool.
I was the snack lady.
I just want to be clear.
Very clear.
Thank
I
you.
could not look at popcorn and nacho cheese for a long time after that job, I will say. It comes in a block.
How long did you work there?
Like a whole summer or something.
Okay.
Nothing crazy. But I saw The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen
Okay.
5 times.
Why?
Well, I had to watch it once to check the reels. So we got to see movies before other people, so we could check the reels.
Oh, God.
And then I had 4 different groups of friends who all wanted to see that movie. And because I was the only one who could get us free tickets, I had to go with them every time.
Yeah, it doesn't have a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did you know that is Sean Connery's last motion picture he's
That's
ever been
very,
in?
very unfortunate.
Yes.
He was like, I can't go back.
Can't go back. And it sucks because it's a really good comic. And so it had like
Potential.
And I don't know why we haven't redone it like we have with Fantastic Four a gazillion times.
Yeah, usually they take another shot if one of them totally blows it on something that had potential. Like somebody else will pick it up a few years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Try again. Worst movie for me, and this isn't close, that I've ever seen in theaters, and it's partially because of the potential as well, was a movie called Envy.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Most people haven't. It came out in 2004, and here's the thing. Here's the reason that at the time, especially, I thought, oh, God, this could be great. It starred Ben Stiller and Jack Black,
Okay.
both at sort of the height of their careers.
Right.
And that duo alone is what brought me and 4 of my best friends in high school to the theater back in 2004. And April 30th, it came out. Directed by Barry Levinson. It did $14 million in the box office, which I assume was a disaster.
What was the budget?
I'm pulling up the Wikipedia so I can find out the budget as well. Budget. I love the Control F feature on here so you can search for one word. If I could spell budget, it definitely doesn't start with an R.
Rudget?
$40 million budget, and they made $14 million.
Yeah, that's not good.
They lost a lot. So we went to this movie theater, and we sat down in the movie theater, and literally within 30 minutes, we were like, oh, fuck, this is really, really bad. Like a total and utter disaster. The plot of the movie is essentially that Ben Stiller and Jack Black are best friends, and Jack Black invents a spray that makes dog poo disappear. And Ben Stiller's like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. And then and then Jack Black, it works. So he becomes like a bazillionaire. And he builds like a castle literally next door to Ben Stiller. So the whole concept of the movie is essentially Ben Stiller being regretful of not having believed Jack Black so that he could invest and get money with him, and how that impacts their friendship. It is again, I want to be very clear about this, bar none the worst thing I've ever seen in theaters by far. It was a fucking total shit show.
Oh, man.
People were like groaning. It was like, what?
Did people just walk out?
I don't remember any. I think it was like one of those things where we were all in shock. So we just sat there and felt like we have to see how this ends.
I think the only other movie I could think of. So I watched it in a theater, but it was meant to be like a bad movie screening, when you go see like a bad movie anyway.
Yeah.
It was a How Did This Get Made podcast screening of Telephone with Whoopi Goldberg. Have you seen this?
That's one that gets brought up a lot.
Yeah, Telephone. And then, there's The Room, which I've seen in theaters as well.
Sure.
But that's like made to be made fun of.
Cult classic, different kind of deal. Telephone was like legitimately like,
oh my God.
they were being serious, right?
I fell asleep in the theater.
It's not good. Envy also has Christopher Walken in it with by far his worst role of his entire career. It's also not close. Amy Poehler is in it.
What?
I'm telling you.
I got to see this movie now. I have a soft spot for bad movies though.
This one will have you rolling. It is utter trash.
Have you watched Velocipaster yet?
Not
I know
yet.
We talked about this.
Ben Stiller murders Jack Black's horse at one point
Oh no.
and then buries it.
What?
Yes. In his own front yard. I mean, you can't even believe how bad this fucking thing is. Blow your mind bad. Worst movie I've ever seen in theaters.
It's not good.
Scarred me. Our friendship, me and those guys,
Over.
we made up. No, we're still very close to this day. But we made a pact. When we left the theater, we were like, we will never speak of this shit ever again.
You
won't
just
bring
broke
this
the pack.
Well, we eventually got to a place where we started being able to laugh about it and but it was a real thing for years and years. Like, you weren't allowed to say the word envy. None of us mentioned it. It was like Voldemort. Like, you did not say this shit.
The movie that must not be named.
Yes. Next segment. Louisiana license plate Gawd. Did you see the story about this dude whose plates expired in 1997?
Yes, it's perfect.
He got pulled over and he told the cops, "Sorry, I've been busy."
You know, Slidell is a suburb of New Orleans, and I get it. You know, it's busy. There's lots of stuff to do.
Sure.
See, eat, drink.
Who has time to go get their license renewed or their vehicle registration?
Never.
He said, "Sorry, officer, I've been busy lately and totally forgot to renew my vehicle registration."
It's probably something he thought about every year, but then just like let it slip.
He promised to take care of it as soon as he got home. More than 20 years old. So incredibly impressive that it has become my new goal. I'm currently on 2018.
Got a while to go.
I don't think I'm going to make it, folks. There were cops all the fuck over my neighborhood earlier, by the way.
Just looking for those
I don't even know.
unregistered vehicles.
They're looking for my unregistered vehicle, and I know it. Anyway, had to share the license plate story, the registration story. That's inspiring stuff. Louisiana. Had to be Louisiana. Next segment. Reviewing Lil Baby and Lil Uzi Vert's albums. So I'm going to say this up front. Both of these dudes would probably fall into what is classified as like the mumble rap generation. This is like Gen Z rappers. This is the dudes. This is a younger group than me. I'm 32. This is what would be like officially out of my demographic. These guys, these two dudes in particular. Uzi Vert, a little more mainstream and like, but either way, no, fuck that. Both of them would fit into that category. So I'll say this too. Over the past couple of months, as I've given like more and more of the y'all's younger music a shot, because I love rap, and obviously I don't want to get to a place where I'm like the old dude who doesn't know who's hot anymore. It's grown on me a lot. And then the dropping of these two albums in particular, I'm now just in on all of this, whatever the fuck it is. The Lil Uzi Vert album is incredible all the way through. I've listened to it like 9 times probably now. And they both have completely different vibes. Like Lil Baby's a little harder. There's a totally different type of vibe. Uzi Vert's more like just celebratory nonsense. Talking about you hadn't fucked a bitch so long you'd do it in the back of a Honda Accord. That's a great line. I don't know why. But I love it. Whole album's phenomenal.
I did listen to a few songs when you sent me the rundown so that I would maybe have something to contribute, but
You got nothing, huh?
I mean, I liked Little Uzi Vert. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cause I'm old. Yeah, it was definitely more my vibe.
It's a little more upbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that Prototype from Outkast.
Sure.
Way back. Yeah. Very much that vibe.
Definitely. Like electronic. Yeah.
Yeah.
With that. Yeah. Dude's very interesting if you look him up the way he looks. But also he is no longer, or he says something about, there's one line in the album where he addresses that he is not a Satanist, which just makes me feel more comfortable with listening to his music for some reason. But love the whole album. If I had to pick favorite songs, I could do it very, very quickly, so I fucking will.
Do it.
Un momento. Well, first of all, the Futsal Shuffle, great song. The one that was like, that was the single off the thing that he released ahead of time. But the opening song, Baby Pluto's phenomenal. Venetia, another one of my favorites, and Celebration Station. Those would be my 3. If you want to go listen to 3, they give you a pretty good idea of what this album is all about. Baby Pluto, Venetia, and Celebration Station. Also, That Way is a bonus track. It's a fun one. And then as far as the Lil Baby album goes, there's too many babies. I've complained about this already. The Baby, Lil Baby. There was Baby back in Young Money, Cash Money, Baby. But this dude and the Baby's album, both great. Now I'm fine with all the babies. Whatever. Fuck it. Between that and Chris D'Elia calling all his fans babies, there's just so many babies. It's just babyland. Surrounded by babies. The album's great. The features are great. It's maybe a little bit less Myrriah's vibe. Definitely a lot darker.
Yeah, I only listened to one track as well, so early judgment.
Was it the first track?
I don't know. It's whatever played on YouTube when I opened up his first page.
Word.
Whatever the single is for this new album.
I don't even know what the single is, but this is another one. I've just kind of listened to it like from front to back over and over. So like honestly, this one I'm not even familiar with the songs unless they have a feature on them. Like which one's which? Because I'm just listening to it.
Oh, it did have a
back.
feature on it. Someone who starts with a G.
A G.
I think.
No, nobody that starts. Oh, Gunna.
Yeah.
Heating Up. Yeah, that's definitely that's one of the hits for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. I still liked it. It just isn't like something I think I would put on repeat personally.
Sure. Features, one of the songs on your features, Lil Uzi Vert, by the way, commercial. But I think Get Ugly, the opening track, has probably been my favorite, the one that I've played the most over and over. But again, through and through, thoroughly enjoy the entire thing. All on board with all these babies. Excited to be a part of Gen Z's rap movement now. You're welcome.
Are they rap daddies? Is
You
that
have
why
my
they're
full
all babies?
support. God, I hope no one calls them that. Next segment. Freeze all motor functions. As y'all are aware, or maybe you're perhaps not, because you've been too focused on the end of the world. Good news, as we're all quarantined, not only can you listen to the Ross Bolen Podcast as much as you want, but Westworld starts back up on Sunday on HBO. Westworld Season 3. And we have a Westworld podcast, a podcast dedicated just to Westworld here at Bolen Media. It's called Freeze All Motor Functions. Jared Borslow, who is often a co-host on RBP, leads the show. I am his co-host. We walk through each and every episode in great detail to understand the complicated nonsense that occurs on the show Westworld. Back in seasons 1 and 2, we have breakdowns for every single episode. If you have not seen either of those seasons, you could go watch them and listen to an episode for Freeze All Motor Functions for each one. They're spoiler-free, so that you will be listening to it just as we did the first time around. And we will be covering season 3 in full, starting this upcoming week. Episode 1 is on Sunday, so something to look forward to. And this season, for those of you who aren't familiar, huge breakaway from the first two. The first two took place almost entirely in the two theme parks, I'll just say that. This one, we're breaking out into the real world. They've added Aaron Paul to the cast. It is a make-or-break sort of season for Westworld as a franchise, and they are very much swinging for the fences, it appears, based on the trailers. There's some kind of Nazi world situation going on. Not clear. We've seen Samurai World. We've seen Westworld. Those were tight. Nazi world starts to get a little weird. You know, because of the Nazis.
Yeah.
Interested to see how that plays. But all in all, I just wanted to give you all a heads up. You need to subscribe to Freeze All Motor Functions. I promise you'll enjoy the show. If you like Jared and I's dynamic, it's a little bit more, and y'all may have noticed this as I've started to hate on Jared more and more over the past couple weeks. Our dynamic on FAMF is very aggressive. I make fun of Jared a lot. But we're friends, you see. And it's for entertainment. It's a joke. Somebody commented on like one of the episodes recently like, damn, Ross, why are you being so mean to Jared? It's like, oh, it's supposed to be funny to y'all. But if it's not...
Not reading that way?
But if it's not reading that way, then I'll stop ripping into Jared. Sorry, Jared. But on Freeze All Motor Functions, that is sort of the reasoning for that, because it's always been like a fun dynamic of the show as we sort of... Y'all would have to listen to the episodes to understand. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining. But subscribe to Freeze All Motor Functions wherever you listen to RBP. And as I always say, oysters, clams, and cockles as well for all the best in TV and film. On OCC, we will be very generally discussing Westworld, whereas on Freeze All Motor Functions, we'll be breaking these episodes down in great, great detail. And you know what? I'm going to pick a few minutes from one of our episodes leading up to this new season, kind of discussing our predictions. I'm going to plug it in here so y'all can get a feel for how the show works right here. Remember.
Okay, here we go. Mini predictions.
Mini, like M-A-N-Y, like we have a whole bunch of them, or M-I-N-I, like very small predictions?
Many predictions.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are they going to do, and I'm serious, this is stupid, but we'll start stupid.
Of course it is.
Are they going to do nudity in season 3?
Oh.
HBO there's been a little bit, okay, so remember during Game of Thrones when they leaned in as hard as they could to nudity and there was boobs in every episode and people got really upset? There was like an adjustment period there where we like reeled back, not necessarily on Game of Thrones, but even on Game of Thrones.
On Westworld, there was so much female nudity, they had to show us Lee Sizemore's penis to recover from it.
Yes, which I was fine with, but
no problem.
I do worry that they're going to like phase that out entirely at some point. And I like the nudity. Nudity is one of those things that I feel like people have painted it up as a negative or a bad thing. They're using nudity. But
Yeah.
it's one of the reasons I watched the show.
Westworld's nudity was like very tasteful. Tasteful nudes.
Tasteful, scientific.
It's scientific. Like
Not sexy in all cases, sometimes sexy, but sitting on a cold stool naked is not comfortable.
There was a lot of non quote unquote sexy nudity in Westworld. Like they were doing that intentionally, I think, to show like, hey, we're doing nudity for effect, not just for nudity's sake, because that's what they knew to do. But then I think because of the outcry, people saying like, there's so much nudity,
Well, but we're not-
they reeled it back.
The problem, we're not going to be in the lab, obviously. We're not going to be in what the lab. What is the name of Westworld?
Mesa?
Thank you. We're not going to be there. We're not going to be with the employees in the control rooms or whatever. We're up in the real world now. People are robbing banks and
But
shit.
what about Nazi World? Who's running that?
I don't know.
Here's my guess. Hitler might be running Nazi World, probably inside the world. I hope he's not running it outside of it.
Do we see a Hitler? No way.
Yes.
You think there's a Hitler?
You can't give us Nazi World and
no
not give
Hitler?
us Hitler.
You have
host.
to give us Hitler if you're going to give us Nazi
have
World.
to.
And I imagine Nazi World to me, the first thing that pops into my head is the end of Inglourious Bastards. It would be fun as shit to murder Hitler.
That was what a great scene.
It was phenomenal. They put a whole clip,
So gratuitous.
like 4 clips into that guy.
Gratuitous. Loved it.
Like 1,000 bullets. And then they burned the entire theater. He was dead.
Does
by the
Maeve
end of
kill
it.
Hitler?
That would be dope.
That would be so awesome.
That's a mini prediction.
Maeve kills Hitler.
We should just title that. This is the episode. Maeve kills Hitler.
Breaking news bulletin.
I don't know how we're going to get into that. So that's one of the things we're obviously excited to see is how they manage this Aaron Paul timeline with, at some point, Nazi World, and
Yes.
It seems to be many different things going on.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wondering. I think this is the prediction I was alluding to earlier. Like, is Westworld back up and running in this? Has Dolores been out in the real world now for like 20 years? So Westworld got back up and running. So they made Nazi World to replace some of the other parks they got destroyed. And then now the Mesa Hub is back populated with people again, and then Maeve is like a sleeper cell, gets set off 20 years later. Is that the timeline we're working on?
I kind of like the maybe a bunch of time has passed thing, right? Because it'd be I don't know if we can jump straight into where Dolores was and then build from there without it being a little bit strange. So you're probably right. If I have to imagine there's been some time passed here.
Well, then there also was time passed after season 2. Remember the post-credits thing with the Man in Black?
Oh, yeah.
That was clearly later than when he had gotten in there eventually. Nobody, we already said, we promised ourselves we weren't going to look into that. And
I'm not looking into
post-credits
it.
thing.
I'm not looking into anything.
Tell me to close my eyes.
Close your eyes. I Googled Tom Sizemore's penis for some reason.
Who's Tom Sizemore?
Lee Sizemore.
Did you Google Tom Sizemore's penis?
No, I Googled Lee Sizemore penis, and one of the stories that popped up was Tom Sizemore was told to leave 2003 movie set after 11 years. Oh, goodness grief. Do I have to read the rest of that?
No, I don't.
Thank you.
That sounds, no, absolutely not.
Tom Sizemore violated an 11-year-old. I'm sorry.
I don't even know who that is.
Look, it's Tom Sizemore, man.
Don't bring that onto the pod. It's sad.
It's not Lee Sizemore. Look, mistakes were made. I'm sorry. This guy made... He's an American film actor and producer who's also a pervert, maybe. Allegedly. I don't know. I'm sorry. Look, all this is Lee's fault. His penis and him led us to Tom. Mistakes were made. Please realign us into where we should be.
Okay.
For the love of God, save me. I'm off in this Tom Sizemore hell.
So clearly, Maeve is not dead. We saw her in the trailer. The end of season 2, very dramatic.
Well, yeah.
Saves her daughter.
You have to imagine it's Maeve. Now, obviously, there's loopholes, but you have to imagine.
It could not be Maeve.
But that'd be really fucking
That would be
stupid.
so stupid. Yeah.
Show us Maeve in the trailer and then be like, ha-ha!
It's actually Carlita.
A new character, but just Maeve's body as you knew it.
Yeah.
No, that would be bullshit.
That would be. Yeah, but like, this is what we've done now for 2 seasons. Is we go, but maybe, and then it never happens. But we have to say, but maybe, because we need the content.
We do. It's for the content, really. And that will do it for today's show. But before you head out to take on the world, it's time for some very important announcements. First off, your legal obligations. You got 4 of them now. 3 of them, excuse me. Why do I keep trying to add a 4th? Number 1, rate and review. Rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts. You can watch on YouTube. That's awesome. I appreciate you. Listen on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify, listen on SoundCloud, but rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Just the area that it helps the most still. 5 stars, 2 or 3 sentences about why you love the show. Keep our ratings and our reviews going up on Apple Podcasts. That's your first legal obligation. Then you can check that box and move on to number 2, which is to share this show with one person, whether it be a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, any one individual that you think to yourself, man, this person might enjoy some RBP during the end of the world as we know it. Share with them. One person this week, one person next week, one person every week until the week you die.
Which might be sooner than later.
So now it really matters. Also, your newest legal obligation, your third and final one, you must use our sponsor codes. Support our sponsors. Support Riomar. Get yourself some shoes. Go to riomar.com/RBP. Use that code RBP. Get 15% off. Get yourself some Liquid IV. Stay hydrated. Stay energized during these trying times. Give your immune system what it needs. LiquidIV.com. Promo code Ross. 25% off. Better hydration and energy. I'm trying to help y'all out. I'm trying to save your fucking life here. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting the show. Follow us on Instagram at the Ross Bolen Podcast, on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. We're on Facebook. If you're the middle-aged aunt of one of our listeners, you can follow me, Ross Bolen, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at WR Bolen. Myrriah, where can we follow you and hear more of your voice?
Yeah, you can follow me on all social media at Myrriah Gossett. That's Myrriah with a Y, Gossett with 2 S's and 2 T's. And you can listen to me on the Star Trek pod with Mike, who I know is also in on RBP pretty frequently.
Mike Moody.
Mike Moody. So that's at Star Trek pod on all social media, and it's Star Trek Discovery pod wherever you get your podcasts. So you can listen to me there talking about nerdy stuff.
Woo! How about that? I finished my medium water here.
Little water's left to go.
The 2 small ones I will now take in shot form to celebrate with you all the survival of this episode during this coronavirus pandemic.
That's 1, and you're going to choke on it. Great. I'll narrate for the listeners at home.
I'm fine. It's fine. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing. Can't even take a shot of water.
I'm just hydrating. Mm-hmm. It's been so long since I took shots of anything.
You're like, what do I even do anymore?
Seriously, it's been over... What, two years and a couple months since I took a shot of anything, so now I don't even know how to open up the back of my throat anymore?
That's what she said.
Come on, while I'm trying to get it down.
You're welcome. Nothing wrong with a good "that's what she said" well-placed joke.
All right, I did it. I drank all the water that was on the table during the show just to prove to you all how dedicated that I am to staying hydrated and avoiding cottonmouth, mostly. That was the main reason. For being real, not so concerned with my health. I'm in the best shape of my fucking life.
Sunglasses on means cottonmouth is happening.
Holy shit, that will do it for RBP 274, recorded and produced by Mike Moody and Grant Davis at Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas, but really by Myrriah Gossett. We'll be back soon with episode 275, RBP 275 coming soon. You are not alone. Podman gets paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Do not forget it is podcast season. Peace be with you and also with you.
Go low, baby.